face to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Pat Riley.
Joining us on mic 3, once again, our good, kind neighbor.
Sam Harder.
Sam Harder is back, and speaking of back on the show for the first time since 2013. I'm back! Our friend,
Laura Crawford.
Laura Crawford's back.
And working harder, not smarter.
Yeah. Laura's the last appearance was an episode, I believe, entitled "Crappy Jobs."
Yeah.
It's the Crappy Jobs episode. What an episode.
With our friend Adam Murray, who also made his return to the show very recently as well. So
Interesting. I think I remember that one. Was that the one where a guy wanted you to shit on a glass table, Pat?
No, there was a guy that had the thing on Craigslist where he was offering people money to poop in front of him.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm thinking of.
that's a good app.
I didn't take up the job offer. I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say something about G's Ultra Lounge, but
Was that at the G's Ultra Lounge?
the G's Ultra Lounge.
I have to go back and clip something from that episode and put it
G's
on our
Ultra Lounge
YouTube.
was amazing.
That was a great app. And you talked about answering phones at the synagogue. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. What a blast. And getting all of the anti-Obama mailers.
Oh God! Oh, what a easier time. And then those Obama mailers came to life and became the president.
Oh, yes.
But
They did indeed.
Yeah, go back and listen to those eps. We still got the whole damn archive up there. Check it out. But today we are here for
Speaking of big returns,
very specific reason. That is this is the return of Who'd Win in a Fight, you guys. Pat, explain to the folks what
so
we're to do.
many episodes ago, we did the last Who Would Win in a Fight. It's one of our tournament episodes. I think the first one we ever did. And it was cryptids, and we did news anchors.
And news anchors.
So John McLaughlin from
the McLaughlin group
won that. Or did Andy Rooney win that one?
I think Andy Rooney
won that. Yeah.
Because Andy Rooney was able to bore John McLaughlin to death with his inane ramblings.
And I don't remember the cryptid, though.
Oh, I remember. Bigfoot won. And then he became the grand champion, and then he went up to the shout out to all the folks up there in Whitehorse, Yukon. Bigfoot, our American grand champion, went up there and lost to Kushtaka, which is, of course, the Canadian cryptid that lives in the Yukon. And as I said in the episode, it is said that the Kushtaka emit a high-pitched 3-part whistle in the pattern of low, high, low. And I was thinking about it, and that also happens to be the song Work It by Missy Elliott. So you hear the Kushtaka coming, you will know it by the sound of Missy, okay? Kushtaka. Yeah, dude. Kushtaka is, if you didn't check out that episode, it's called Klondike Cryptids is the name of the ep.
Okay.
We did it live at the brewery. Pat wasn't there, but me and Goodnight did that live at the brewery with Kyle Clark and George Muratis and a couple of other Canadian comedians up there. And Kushtaka is a shape-shifting man otter.
Oh.
He's like
I'm just going to say, what would you do for a Klondike Kushtaka? Klondike Cryptid? Words. Cryptid.
So what we did was
would
we each volunteered 3 possible themes for it. And then once we decide it, we will populate the bracket.
Yes.
Single elimination. Who would win in a fight between these various entities. So we got the cowboy hat. I'm going to dig through.
Oh, that rustles.
Figure out what our winner is going to be.
Cowboy!
Radio edit.
He's not going to be the Grand Marshal of that parade.
Wait, did they disinclude him from a parade?
Yes, Kid Rock.
What happened?
The Kid of Rock. I didn't
Oh,
inquire.
he said something about Joy Behar
Oh.
from The View.
Well, what parade was he going to be the marshal
gonna
of?
be the Grand Marshal. Was it Nashville or Memphis? So their Christmas parade.
I was just
knows?
assuming Detroit.
Oh no, I don't know.
And the Detroit Christmas parade, of course, is just a bunch of flaming garbage cans.
I just imagine it's people looking around the float for copper to scavenge.
So,
damn it! This chicken wire ain't copper.
all right, so
I don't know why the Detroiters have that accent.
All right, I got one, and here's the ones that we didn't pick.
Okay, what do we got?
80s martial arts movie stars.
Oh,
So-
damn.
Those guys for legit fight.
I
That would
know.
have been a good one.
Yeah, who would win in a fight? Don the Dragon Wilson or Sammo Hung?
Dolph Lundgren versus Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
The world will never know.
A battle of wits or a battle of fists?
Hey,
Dolph Lundgren is very smart.
Yeah, Fulbright scholar.
Yeah.
So,
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
To the School of Hard Knocks,
I
one would
know.
assume.
Food show personalities.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, we get some Mayor of Flavortown versus some
Oh, man.
Rachel
Paula
Ray.
Dean. Yeah, Guy Fieri versus Paula Dean. Dream matchup.
Artists featured on the Family Values tour.
Ooh,
Not in there.
Man.
Ooh.
God, who would win between DJ Lethal and Incubus?
Or members of the NWO.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So we couldn't have had one of Virgil versus
Yes.
VK Wall Street. Jean Benet Ramsey versus Heather O'Rourke. From
I thought we were
Public
just doing mashups specifically
yeah,
of
no.
two types. I was going to say
Murdered children.
no, dead blonde girls is the category.
Stand-up comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No Rodney Dangerfield versus Gallagher.
The 27 Club.
That was mine. I was hoping it would be, Robert Johnson versus
Janis Joplin.
Shannon Hoon.
Rappers.
Okay,
I
rappers.
wanna, people argue about who's better, Biggie or Tupac, but who would win in a
Who
fight?
would win in a fight? Biggie,
That's
or
what I
Tupac?
want to know.
Tupac. He went to prison longer.
Game show hosts.
Yep, that was also one of
Oh my
mine.
God.
Yeah.
Trebek. Let's see if Trebek could take it all the way.
General Tom Thumb versus Hervé Villachet. Hervé was a very mercurial type guy, from what I've understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also French, so he would submit immediately.
So
He would surrender. Right?
Rivers, it's your lucky day.
Oh, what do we get?
Presidents.
Oh, presidents.
Finally,
all right.
the president battle that we've all been waiting for.
Finally.
Who
All
would
right.
win in a fight? So we're going to populate the list,
Yes.
and then we're going to figure out the bracket. And of course, what's the song that we're going to hear during this bracket forming period?
Well, today we're going to hear "Let Me Love You Tonight" by Pure Prairie League.
Oh, a different Pure Prairie League song. So we're not doing Amy.
We got to do Pure Prairie League.
Okay, great.
It's the tradition
You were
here on the show.
saying Pure Prairie League.
Pure Prairie League with "Let Me Love You Tonight."
There's a million stars in the sky. Let me love you tonight. Let me love you tonight. Let me love you tonight.
Wow, Pure Prairie League. What a band.
Who knew they had more than one hit or two hits? But that was "Let Me Love You Tonight" by the Pure Prairie League.
Yeah, that one's not on Sounds of the 70s.
Or "Bustin' Out,"
yeah, exactly.
referenced in an earlier episode. Bill Conway had the audacity to say that no one understood the reference of the cover of "Bustin' Out" by Pure Prairie League.
And he's the guy that runs the Hard Times does not get random Pure Prairie League references.
Come on. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway,
That
shout
sounds
out
like
to
a
Bill.
butter company.
Pure Prairie League?
Yeah.
They do the song "Amy." That's their big song.
Amy, what you gonna do?
Yeah, they do
Right,
sound like
right.
they're like the name of the company that
Amy.
produces Chef Spread Country Crock.
I know, they're like, if you're not in Pure Prairie League, you're not making the best butter in the nation.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Madam Johnson with Pure Prairie League. We make the best butter in America, and I'll fucking fight you if you don't believe it.
It's spreadable. It's lightly salted. and it's a beautiful buttery yellow color.
I will take off this gingham apron and strangle you with it if you disagree.
I will shove mashed potatoes made with our beautiful, delicious, AAA rated, pure prairie leaf spreadable butter.
So we have a gang of presidents.
We got a Lyndon Johnson like cowboy hat full of presidents.
A jumbo-sized assortment, if you will.
A jumbo-sized.
All right, so
names.
So we have 12 presidents in here that we all have put in.
Yep.
We're gonna pick 8, and that's gonna be our tournament.
Okay.
So let's see here. First one out of the hat, Ohio's own Warren G. Harding.
Oh yes. That's that one's mine. I think we'll talk about why.
Oh yeah. And he's going up against John Adams.
Okay, president number 2.
Yes.
Let's see what happens.
Next matchup, Richard Nixon.
Oh shit!
Versus
Tricky Dicky.
the pride of Yorba Linda, California, is facing off against. Hey, we have a rematch in 1960, baby.
Oh.
JFK.
Oh,
all right.
shit.
That is that's a good matchup.
Hey,
Right
Just
there.
don't televise it. I think we know how it'll go.
We just know that Nixon's going to get sweat in his eyes and lose.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, there we go. TR. That might.
I know.
That's probably a strong contender there to win.
Going up
Bully.
against Lyndon Johnson.
Shit, we're getting the big ones. You know, it's kind of a tradition here on the Goods from the Woods that when we do these tournaments, a lot of times the heavy hitters are right up top.
William Howard Taft.
Okay. The Yokozuna of this
I
tournament.
know. A literal heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Going up against the first NWA World Heavyweight Champion, allegedly,
Abraham
Lincoln.
Oh my god.
So in the didn't make it in the tournament. Dwight Eisenhower, Andrew Jackson, George Washington, and Herbert Hoover.
Oh shit! With Herbert Hoover, by the way, our nation's only geologist president. Geologist.
So our first matchup: Warren Harding versus John Adams.
Okay.
John Adams, the oldest competitor in this tournament. So
Yeah. So he's got a little age on him, a little bit of sass. So yeah, John Adams, for those that don't know, defended in court the perpetrators of the Boston Massacre.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was the only person, and of course, Laura, native of the state of Massachusetts, probably upped your neck in John Adams stuff in elementary school there.
Quite a bit, yeah. John Adams, lawyer, statesman. You know, obviously his son went on to become president also. He lost Thomas Jefferson, but they were friends, you know, for a very long time.
Have you been to Quincy?
I have been to Quincy. Quincy.
See, I always heard
Quincy.
that Boston people say Quincy.
They say Quincy like that. But yeah, it's fun to get off the train there. I think I took a train to Quincy to do a show, and I saw Mr. Goodnight just randomly on the train. I was like, oh, shit, hello. Nice to see you. I just run into Mr. Goodnight on the train there. And, you know, obviously the subject of the amazing series, John Adams, played by Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti, yeah, of course.
And
so
it's just...
we are imagining in this fight that it is, in fact, the Paul Giamatti version of John Adams.
Much like we imagined Val Kilmer's version of... God, why am I blanking his Samuel Langhorne Clemens?
Sure. No, we don't do Hal Holbrook. No, Mark Twain.
I think of Mark Twain as Val Kilmer now.
A very, very tall
So
Mark
just
Twain.
a John Adams reeking of ouzo and Lipitor.
Cancer. Reeks of tumors, untreated tumors. He's a Christian Scientist. I'm sorry.
Wait, is he really?
Val Kilmer?
Oh, I thought you meant Paul Giamatti. I was like, Paul Giamatti's a Christian
No, I'm
Scientist?
sorry. I'm still thinking about Val Kilmer.
Oh, okay.
Paul Giamatti, as far as I know, treats his illnesses with modern medicine. We can move on.
But yeah, no. All right. So things I know about John Adams is a short man, and so he's got.
Ooh, that doesn't help.
Well, you have the lower center of gravity. You know?
What are the rules to this fight? Is it just a to the death? Or is it MMA rules? Are we doing a boxing match?
I would say that it would be kind of...
I always pictured it schoolyard style.
So
just free form. You know, you got to think. You take height and weight into consideration for sure. But this is just like who's going to be able to like come out of the box more aggressively or more in a more of a smart way.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, because John Adams famously had a very, very short temper. He was easy to anger, so he's one of those guys that if you get in a few like kind of glancing jabs at him, he might be able to explode, like a little tiny Tasmanian devil of energy.
It's always good to hear whenever somebody who's quick to anger was the president.
He was so angry he passed the Alien and Sedition Act.
The button at that time was just a bell that someone came and got him a rifle, which took him an hour to load. So there's no bombs being dropped on anyone in that kind of speedy delivery. I was going to say he's a farm boy.
Yes.
So, he can cut the head off a chicken if need be. Or,
yeah. Got that farm strength. He always considered himself a farmer.
Yeah. He'll get down in the muck. I think he would muck it up.
His nickname, John Adams, in the Senate, because basically he was the vice president under George Washington, and the position of vice president then as now is basically meaningless. So because he is the president of the Senate, John Adams decided to just go to the Senate every day and sit there and just cause problems. Because as the president of the Senate, you don't have a vote; you just have a tie-breaking vote if there's a split. And so he would just be there and be like, hey, well, what about this? And would just muck up the works as they were going about. And
just terrorize Button Gwinnett all day.
He created a several weeks long argument in the Senate over how George Washington was to be addressed. So he was saying, and they eventually settled on what we still call the president today, which is Mr. President, is what they settled on. But John Adams was like, no, he's Your Majesty. We got to call him Your Majesty. And he kept saying it, and it led to calling him His Rotundity. So basically, like, yeah, shut up, you fat fuck.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So that was the big diss on him.
So do you think he's the kind of guy who would maybe shove you a little bit and then be like, "What? Do something," or just get right in your face, like an inch away, nose to nose?
I'm just imagining Your Majesty Gerald Ford.
Oh my God.
His Majesty fell off of the plane today.
Your Majesty Zach.
Ziggity Zach Taylor.
Zachary Taylor. And,
also Adams never owned a slave.
That's right.
So he doesn't let people fight his battles for him.
That's very, very true. Yeah, he had a good corner man in Abigail as well. So
she's vicious.
Very much so.
But Warren Harding, on the other hand, from Ohio,
Warren G. Harding,
possible juggalo because of that.
Yes. I believe
he could have been he could have been the first juggalo. We don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
it's Ohio.
Unfortunately, best remembered as being the president who presided over the Teapot Dome scandal, which is where basically he was selling off oil reserves that were intended for the U.S. Navy to private entities and stuff like that, or at least his administration was. But more interesting, he also had a series of letters between him and his mistress, who looks like Mrs. Butterworth.
Wow, she does.
She looks like a bottle of syrup.
Yeah. She's got a thick neck.
She's got a sturdy ass neck. We'll
thick neck woman.
We'll put this up on our Twitter. We're at The Good Spot.
Hey,
Her name.
she could probably power shrug 250 pounds.
She's juicing because she's got those traps.
Exactly.
She's got the Goldberg traps. So Carrie Fulton Phillips, his longtime mistress and
15 years.
Sexy pen pal, is what this article says.
Sexy pen pal.
Yeah, you didn't used to be able to sext. Hey kids, it used to be hard.
Yeah. This is his version of "You Up" is a very long ass letter where he had a name for his wiener. Which is kind of fun. So basically, Warren G. Harding is sort of a sex crazed lunatic and also a bit of a drunk.
Yeah,
our first horny president, perhaps.
I'm sure there was,
Jefferson was a horny.
I think Jackson was like horny, but for blood,
And then Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland. He was a pretty randy guy.
Is that right? Cleveland had some stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, he got married in the White House.
Oh, he married like a young hot chick.
His 27-year-old.
She was his Melania.
Yeah, I think she was I don't know what capacity she worked in, but it was he was he got married and he was just a big rotund guy with a mustache.
Yeah.
Which I miss big rotund mustache guys. Your Tafts.
Your walruses amongst men. You like a walrus in charge.
You have to be like
these tales of cabbages and kings.
Like one of those old bodybuilders that wore a striped unitard. Get away with that look, You
were on the exploratory committee to get the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, exactly.
So there actually is an article. This article's from Politico, and it is called "America's Horniest President."
Oh, who is America's
Thank
horniest
God.
president?
Harding.
Harding.
Well,
yeah.
he's also rumored to have an
Called it.
illegitimate child.
Okay, so after his death, wrote a biographer, quote, his reputation plummeted so quickly that only with the greatest reluctance could a Republican successor be persuaded to dedicate his tomb. So that's after the Teapot Dome scandal. But all of this is aside from the difficulties he got into when he had trouble controlling Jerry, as he would call his penis.
Wait,
That's such a weird name.
In the Tom
Yeah,
and
I
Jerry
hate that.
cartoons, it's Jerry the mouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's got a wily penis.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
you're saying.
I don't
Get
like
chased
how
around the house.
he just used a regular person's first name.
Also assuage the traditional Peter and Johnson.
I know.
I feel like giving your penis a nickname is a very old school thing.
It really is.
I don't know any guys around my age who still talk about
What's
things
the
like that.
deal with betting the White House China in a poker game?
Oh, we haven't even gotten there yet. But yeah, so last year, the Library of Congress released a batch of letters Harding wrote to his longtime mistress, Carrie Fulton Phillips. The correspondence revealed that he and the Republican National Committee paid the woman $5,000 a month to stay silent about their affair while he was president. The letters weren't merely declaration of love gone wrong. They contained such poetic gems as, quote, I love your poise, your perfect thighs, when they hold me in paradise. I love the rose your garden grows, love seashell pink that over it glows. Phillips.
What is he talking about?
He's writing poetry about
Talking about
No,
her pussy.
yeah, he's writing pussy poems.
I'm being willfully.
I mean, they sound like really bad yacht rock songs.
Oh, perfect thighs. It's Michael McDonald. When they hold me in paradise.
I think it's
They call me Jerry. Yeah, they call me Jerry.
I think it was
Will
more.
you make a Jerry happy tonight?
I think more Kenny Rogers tone.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true.
Jerry
Yeah.
happy tonight.
I like to dream in loose, flowing garb because I can dream more intensely to alarming release. Oh boy,
Oh,
come
yeah.
to his
See, okay,
pants.
here's the theory. But
Alarming.
Like, oh God!
He did die of a heart attack.
The midnight intruder doth wake me. No, I don't. I
Well,
guess
jacking
it's,
off, maybe.
I called your name aloud thrice, begging you to come. He wrote the lady. There was much more. Quote: Jerry came and will not go. So he's just permahorn.
I know.
Do you think he was just walking around the White House with an erect dick, making decisions?
He's signing bills with it.
I think he walked around with an erect heart.
I just no wonder they didn't dedicate. I could just imagine Calvin Coolidge getting calls at like 2 a.m, just like, Calvin, it's Warren. Warren is me, Warren. I don't know where I am.
Let's see. You must not be annoyed. Jerry is so utterly devoted that he only exists to give you all. Phillips was a worldly woman. She hung the threat of exposure over Harding's head to great profit, receiving from the Republican National Convention a gift somewhere between $20,000 and $25,000, which is more than $300,000 in today's money, in addition to her monthly hush money. So, yeah. So,
She's smart.
anyway, so
my God.
All I
basically,
can think about now is, did this guy eat pussy? I gotta
I
know.
think so.
Yeah, he loves the clam.
Yeah, it's like the season to the seashell. But yeah, Harding did die in office.
Yeah.
He had a heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was his the booze put his heart in a headlock and he passed out. But yeah, no, that was
Not the coos didn't put his heart in
I think it's a little bit above.
Gambling debts.
Gambling debts, so much so that he, as we mentioned, made reference to, he did gamble away the White House silverware and china in a poker game. This guy's basically just like a big drunk piece of shit, and Adams is a tiny angry nerd.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what we're talking about here is like frat bro versus like a little like Poindexter,
Yeah.
with a lot of nerd rage, I think.
But I'm just thinking, like the Spartans thought that you had to reserve your chi, your cum energy, to fight better.
Right. Yeah.
The
Like
Spartans invented No Nut November.
Yeah, that was
they were the
a very,
original Proud Boys.
Yes, they were.
well, that was the original. Well, no, that was the original. One of the things from Rocky, where she was just
women weaken legs.
I'm on rock.
Come on, rock.
And then
women weaken legs.
and so I was just like, I can't do this the night before.
So John Adams is like, I haven't fucked Abigail Adams since before the revolution.
I believe he does. Like he does get intimate before the fight with Apollo.
Yeah.
And I think that's what allowed him to go the distance.
Yeah.
I can't taste your marinara. I can't have my penne.
Buckus, get out of the room. Get out of the room. What are you looking at, Buckus?
I like when Coffin Lake watch.
Buckus, what are you looking at? Get out of the room.
So
Dad's doing something.
He was a porn star. Anyway, but yes. So I think John Adams could have some fight potential because he's backed up with goo, as it were.
So here we go. All right, moment of truth. We've got a much larger competitor in Warren Harding, and also we can assume sort of drunk, so he might have some like lucky shots. We can assume with that drunk shit, he's not going to be into technique. It's going to be wild ass haymakers, but also he's got a rock hard bone, so he's very distracted. His eyes are not on the prize. John Adams is focused like a psychopathic fucking nerd, full of rage and energy. My vote, Harding takes one good shot, maybe halfway connects, and then Adams knocks him the fuck out right after that.
I think Harding's going to be so horny, he's going to be thinking about, if I can fuck this guy up, all the girls are going to be impressed by that.
So he's got an incentive.
Yeah. And also the alcohol is going to make it so that he can feel less pain when he does get hit. And it's going to make him more violent, as studies has proven alcohol does.
Yeah.
I think he's going to take it.
Yeah, and he's got that finishing maneuver, the teapot dome, which is some sort of pump handle thing, where he puts them into a teapot shape and then flips them over.
Yeah, that was the Road Dogg's finishing move.
Oh yes, the teapot dome.
I thought it was William Regal's.
Yeah, maybe.
What you think, Laura? Who's your vote go for?
It's tough because I feel like Warren Harding's the kind of guy who would just throw objects at you.
Yeah,
like you couldn't even get near him. You'd be like a wild and
just
out,
throwing cups and expensive things.
Yeah, he would just flip a table over. He would spit in your face and then run away.
So he's a dirty fighter.
He's a dirty fighter. And then he would get him in a headlock and then be like, "Smell my fingers."
So John Adams like stands on principle but loses.
Yeah. Plus, John Adams had all of those like 18th century farm illnesses that people died of in those days.
One of the first Americans to be inoculated for smallpox, by the way, while he was in France. Yeah. Interesting. All right, so we got two.
I went to France and all I got was this lousy first smallpox vaccination. T-shirt. Harding.
Laura's going Harding. All right, what do you say?
Well, I mean, I'm going to go with this is very tough, right?
Yeah,
because the thing about if you ever watch a bar fight or any sort of a frat house fight or something like that, usually whoever is the drunkest is the worst fighter.
Sure.
I mean, it's like they have that whiskey courage, and then they can't figure out where to throw, and they're just disoriented. But Warren Harding is extremely like Randy.
So he's focused.
I mean, if I'm John Adams and I have this like guy coming at me who's completely drunk and just like talking about Jerry, I would be weirded out. I would be like, get me away from this guy. Just get me out of this octagon and just take me home.
I
have nothing to gain from this.
I used to go out to the street in Austin where I'm from, where it's just a line of bars for blocks and blocks called 6th Street. And at 2 a.m. when the bars let out, the guys who don't get girls that night are the most dangerous guys in the world to be around. Yeah. They just want to get in a fight. They want anything. They want to feel anything.
Yeah, I mean,
That's when you tell them that you like their pink pop collar shirts. Yeah, they look real cute.
Like
you look like you listen to the Killers.
Yeah, like the thing about it is that John Adams, man of letters, just a very sort of he's scrappy, but like Warren Harding has literally nothing to lose.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he has got gambling debts. His liver looks like beef jerky. He's just like he's from Ohio. Like he's just like he's got nothing to lose. And the person that you don't
fighting out of cave in rock.
Right. And the thing is that like the guy died in office. He's got a death wish. And the thing is that no matter how drunk, it says like you do not get into a fight with someone who's got literally nothing to lose.
It's like
so
you going
They
Harding?
put chocolate in spaghetti chili. They're a fucked people.
And Warren Harding also writes bad poetry, so he's
he's mentally ill.
He'll cut himself before you cut him.
Yeah, he's just got nothing to lose. So I'm gonna go with Warren Harding.
All right, Warren Harding.
Nothing
Warren Harding
against John Adams.
Advances.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, he's John Adams from the Boston area people, very scrappy.
Oh yeah,
scrappy
absolutely.
types. But
I didn't even bring that up. Yeah, he's
Any listener should take away the advice from this podcast. Don't fight somebody with a lower credit score than yours, because they are going to fuck you up. Absolutely.
I think Hardy would be fish hooking.
Warren Harding knows in the back of his mind, he's like, I'm one of the worst presidents, so I've got nothing to lose.
Paradise.
So, Richard Nixon versus JFK. We have a rematch of 1960, but in this case, this is Mortal Kombat. So,
schoolyard rules.
California boy, born in Yorba Linda, California. As far as I know, the only president whose presidential library sits on the birthplace. So you can go to Yorba Linda, and it's really trippy because they have the house that he was born in, and parked next to it in the parking lot is the helicopter that he fucked off from Washington on in 1975.
He was
or 74.
He was 81.
81, yeah. It's a good long run.
Yeah.
So he famously went to Whittier College and was his dad was a citrus farmer. And when he went to college, he was not allowed into the fraternities there because he didn't have the social standing. And so he created his own fraternity. And basically, you can read all of Nixon's actions as just a guy with a huge fucking chip on his shoulder, pretty much his entire life.
We're doing a 2-part Nixon on profiles and eccentricity. And one of the stories that I found was from watching, I think it was an American Experience on Nixon special.
Oh, that one's great, by the way.
He was a cuck.
Oh, Nixon?
Nixon was a
he
total
would
cuck.
Drive. Oh, that's
Yes, I love it. So
weird.
Pat.
Yeah, Pat Nixon.
Irene, whatever her last name is, I forget. So she's, an Irish redhead girl. She's like the police chief's daughter or whatever. She's an actress in the Community Players or whatever. So Nixon's in this community theater group with her, which is already, kind of sissy.
Sure.
We'll say for Nixon. For that time, we would probably say that. Well, they famously say that he loved musicals.
Yeah.
South Pacific was like his favorite soundtrack. And she would go on dates with guys in L.A., so they're in Whittier, and he would drive her to dates in L.A. and then go pick her up and drive her home.
Yeah.
Pat's getting plowed all over the place, like by all these like studio execs and casting agents and pool sharks or whatever, probably, down at...
Jesus Christ.
Don't kink shame Nixon. Come on.
And then Nixon's just...
That's the name of this episode.
Yeah. Don't
kink shame Nixon.
And then Nixon's just like, have a good time,
What'd you do?
She's giving him like the foil swan full of her leftovers or the eat that, you mongrel.
Oh, it's beef Wellington Mall.
I love it.
Oh God, yeah. So that's Nixon.
That's summed up totally.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, yeah. So you can obviously anybody who knows anything about Nixon, if you've heard those damn Watergate tapes. Angry man, lots of rage.
Yeah.
All cucks known as tenacious fighters. Also.
Secretive, paranoid.
Yeah.
Loved lists.
Yes, very
drunk. Also a drunk.
Yeah, a bit of a drunk. And then of course JFK. Now we made reference to this when we pulled his name. If you catch JFK before World War II, probably gonna be pretty challenging. He's a very strong man. Despite having Addison's disease, he famously carried 2 soldiers on his back from a sinking PT boat in the South Pacific. So, and that led to him having back problems for the rest of his life. So to my point, if this is a fight that's happening after World War II, Work the back, brother. Work the back.
Yeah. You don't want to punch him in the front because those Kennedy teeth are like tombstones.
Oh, they'll fuck
They
up your
are
knuckles. Yeah.
Fucking, they're like ivory tusks. Those things are humongous. You know what I'm
man.
saying? And that floppy mop hair just protects them like a helmet.
That's right. Yeah.
Also, I just want to say, because of the Harding thing, this guy was pumped full of opiates and amphetamines constantly.
Yes.
And you have to take that into consideration here. He was
horny.
Speedballs. Yeah.
And he was horny
No,
too.
very
He was on
horny.
speedballs. He was on everything but roller skates.
Yeah.
And sometimes roller skates.
Yeah. When he was hanging with Marilyn, for sure.
Yeah.
No, he was. Because he had his own personal Dr. Feelgood.
He also had STDs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Irishman. So,
yeah.
and I mean,
Long
just
fighting tradition there.
Yeah, I mean, just based on that that movie, The Great White Hype. Any white boxer, Irish.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Irish Harry Conklin.
Yeah.
So,
Kennedy's family crest just is the Notre Dame logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a competitive family too.
Yeah, they very,
by
very
all-
much are. Yeah.
Yeah.
and very
yeah.
vital, athletic. You know,
Right.
they
right.
get upset if you don't want to
Toss
roust about.
Right.
You know, we grew up with many brothers.
Yeah. And you know, the famous thing with when Kennedy and Nixon went head to head, of course, was the televised debate, which they say kind of sunk Nixon's campaign because he appeared sort of sweaty and, you know, sort of clammy, I guess, during the debate, which
Yeah,
But-
5 o'clock shadow.
yeah.
Well, I like to call it fashion stubble.
Yeah.
But
Face for
here's
radio.
here's the thing, though. Nixon, good friends with Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
that's true.
Elvis trains him in the ways of Elvis's karate,
Ooh, yes, that's right.
he
Yeah.
might be able to have some moves.
Yeah, because Elvis, of course, was a 7th degree black belt because
Yes.
7 is the Lord's number. So
Yeah. Also, Nixon was kind of like the Rudy of the football team, whereas Nixon was obsessed with football and loved it.
Right.
And desperately wanted to play, but he was always undersized.
couldn't get to the team.
Yeah, he was the Rudy of his era.
Yeah. So again, I mean,
He's
this
giving him water bottles and stuff. And
Yeah.
this is.
But if Elvis like showed him some katas, you know, showed him some because we saw the videos of Elvis doing some sort of self-defense techniques.
That's right. Yeah.
If he taught him some of Elvis's Elvis taught him some of the Elvis Kwando.
Yeah.
That could have worked, and I would like to see Richard Nixon in like one of those Elvis gis with the leopard print on them. And,
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
very interesting.
So with this one, I mean, this is not too dissimilar actually from Adams versus Harding in that you've got a big drunk horn dog versus an angry nerd. I mean, it's kind
really,
of
that's just the story of our political process.
that's. I mean, I think I said it in the
many a time.
I said it in the episode we did with Evan Kessler. But the only two people who are ever involved in politics are assholes and nerds. So like this is what we've got. But with this one, I think just because. I don't know. I think he's got that dirty Irish blood going through him. I think JFK takes this one, honestly.
it's kind of like people who love beer. It's just assholes and nerds.
Yeah, kind of.
Politics and beer.
Yeah. I gotta go JFK on this one. I don't know. I think
JFK seems like the obvious here. I'm also going JFK.
I would say that I would go Nixon, and the reason why is that Nixon, being a nerd, I think that he would prepare a lot for this, right?
Oh yeah. He'd watch tapes.
He'd watch tapes.
He'd be in the footage
listen
room.
to tapes. He'd make tapes.
He made a lot of tapes.
He'd call Elvis and be like, Elvis, teach me some moves.
Yeah.
I think that he would, and versus JFK would be like, this guy, I got him in the debates, right? And he might coast. He might. And the whole thing on any given day, you know. So I think Nixon would train heavily, and I think he might eke this one out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And by the way, his fraternity that you founded, I was just
The Oregonians?
the Orthogonians.
Orthogonians.
And you know what an orthogon is?
No.
It's a right angle. So he's basically saying the squares.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought you were
yeah.
going to say orthogonians, because I thought in my mind I thought of an octagon. I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah, no, he's saying he's like, we're the orthogonians, meaning we're the squares. Fuck you.
They
Fuck
would
you,
have
you
like spaghetti suppers and
loosey goosey frat bro assholes,
Yeah.
which totally translates into the whole silent majority thing.
But then
of,
but then
being like,
again,
we're
I
the
mean,
squares.
But then again, I mean, lambda.
Yeah, I was thinking the same
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
Remember how
To
that
beat
turned
the
out?
alpha betas, and I can imagine JFK hanging out with Ogre and Ted McGinley.
Oh my god!
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
But I tepidly would say Nixon.
You're going Nixon? All right, it comes down to Laura. The state, the eyes of the state of Massachusetts are upon you, Miss Crawford. What do you have to say for your native son?
I'm honestly going Nixon on this.
Oh,
Okay, so we have a tie.
Shit, we're split.
Because
But I think
We gotta flip. We gotta flip a coin.
Because think about it this way. Nixon far better at destroying his enemies
Yes.
than JFK was. Because who did JFK go up against? The Cubans failed.
The mafia.
The mafia failed.
Yeah, I guess they.
I got him.
Yeah, they got him.
I got him. He went up
Woody
against
Harrelson's
the mafia.
dad,
He went up against
Ted
Woody Harrelson's
Cruz's dad.
He went up against Ted Cruz's dad. He went up against the Cubans, the mafia. He lost. The Russians.
A Japanese torpedo.
The Russians, that's kind of a toss-up. Who won or lost that? He really wasn't good at getting his enemy multiple diseases, bullets, the city of Dallas. He just seemed to not be able to pull it
He
out.
always does the job. Yeah.
Whereas Nixon, he could bomb you in secret.
salt in the fucking earth.
He could salt the earth, bomb you in secret, hangs out with a fucking bald guy with a mustache, creepy that is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nixon, you'd show up.
Also, G. Gordon Liddy kind of looks like karate superstar Billy Graham. So
does.
G. Gordon Liddy might know karate.
Oh, y'all were
I
talking about G.
imagine-
Gordon Liddy. I thought you meant the Iron Sheik.
Oh no! See, I imagine since they're friends, they're freshman centers together, they'd show up for a fight, and JFK would be like, "Man, it's going to be a fun fight. We'll see who's the better man." Whatever.
Yeah.
And he shows up, and Nixon's like, "Well, it was great to see you, John." And he pats him on the back, and then puts like a bomb on his back, like
Right,
sticks it to him, like
yeah.
a tiny, spy device. And then he's like, "Well, let's start it." And JFK just explodes, just blows up into a million pieces. Well, that was easy.
Oh man!
That's
All right.
totally what I
So
imagine.
we're at a deadlock. So what we'll do? We'll flip a coin.
Okay.
I guess that's the way to go. So
I thought we were going to buy Illinois.
let's see.
Okay.
All right. So all right.
Heads Nixon.
Heads
tails,
Nixon, tails
JFK.
JFK. All right, flipping the coin. All right.
JFK. But it was
advances.
razor thin, much like 1960.
Absolutely.
So
Came
Yes.
right down to the wire.
Yeah.
All right, JFK advances.
get out of here, Nixon. This one might be the most violent matchup.
Oh shit.
The one that actually might resemble just a really good, 5-round UFC championship fight.
Oh my god.
Teddy
yeah.
Roosevelt versus Lyndon Johnson.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
yeah. This is a good one.
Oh boy, this is the bully versus the bunghole here.
Jumbo versus Bully. Yeah, the Bully versus the Bungle. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
Christ. Let's
Teddy
see.
Roosevelt likes to hike.
Roosevelt.
Cardio might be good.
Yeah, lots of cardio. Again, a guy who born with asthma.
Yeah, a
and
guy who wears glasses.
willed it the fuck away.
Yeah.
That's like Teddy Roosevelt's approach to asthma was my approach to lactose intolerance. Like, I was just like, I'm just gonna keep eating cheese until it doesn't give me the shit skis. Teddy Roosevelt was like, I'm gonna just breathe mountain air until I can breathe right. And so he went out to fucking North Dakota, rode around on a horse, and worked at a farm for like 4 years.
Did
or whatever.
Hindu squats all
Did
day.
Hindu squats all day, just a maniac, and then made his lungs cooperate.
Yeah.
He willed his lungs
But
into health.
he's so rich and he's so
Yes.
connected. Would
Yeah.
do you think anyone had the guts to mess with him ever?
Yeah, no, he's definitely the original, trust fund kid living in Brooklyn, just being
Yeah.
like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do
Trustafarian, Brahmin.
art until I do something else.
See, I imagine he probably was like, "Oh, I want to learn to fight," so he pays an Indian chief to teach him to fight, and they're not really fighting him because they're like, "He's my boss. I'm not going to really fight him." Let's be honest.
But,
Yeah.
but the thing about Teddy Roosevelt is he got shot in the chest
By a Cuban.
and then just kept going talking while the
Yes.
blood was
That is
forming.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so during this was the the third campaign, right, during the Bull Moose era, when he eventually lost to who took that, Wilson? I guess. Yeah. So the one that he ended up losing alongside Taft to Wilson, he's giving a speech, or he's about to give a speech, I believe, at a train station, and his speech is so thick it's tucked into his left front pocket in his coat, and somebody shoots him, and the speech is so goddamn thick it slows the bullet down enough to not kill him, and he delivers the speech with with just actively bleeding in his suit.
Fairness, bullets were much slower then.
Yeah, it was a shitty gun, but that's still pretty badass. I mean, you know.
Speed of shit.
He invented the teddy bear?
No, the teddy bear story is weird because basically there was if I remember correctly, there was he was hunting bears, and there was like a forest fire, and they had to like back off from bear hunting, and they went to inspect the fire, and there was a bear hiding in a tree that's mama bear had been killed, but this cub was still up in the tree, and they reported this thing, and it's so weird because they're basically like, he just didn't kill a baby bear.
Yeah.
and so the story went around, and then some enterprising stuffed animal company made a bear and called it the teddy bear.
I believe that they were making stuffed bears, like Stife bears, but it got the name.
It got the name from him. Yeah. Like
it became fashionable, and people would walk around with teddy bears in public.
Right. But yeah,
that'd be cool. You know,
he is
tougher than a $2 steak.
Yeah, shit. Yeah,
or at least that's what we've been led to believe.
Yeah. That is the popular interpretation of Teddy Roosevelt, and I think he's got. I mean, it's kind of what we were talking about with him being a rich kid. He's got the wealth-based confidence where it's like, I'll run up Kettle Hill because fuck you. My dad.
Shorter.
My dad owns a dealership.
So we have a thing where he's shorter. He's got less reach than who he's fighting against. But the cardio is definitely.
Okay. So I have gotten some verification on the fighting stuff because I was wondering. As governor of New York, he boxed with sparring partners several times each week, a practice he regularly continued as president until being hit so hard in the face he became blind in his left eye.
Oh, shit.
Thereafter, he practiced judo, attaining a third-degree brown belt. He also continued his habit of skinny dipping in the Potomac River during the winter.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, he was like the original Polar Bear Club maniac.
So this guy would...
As a shriveled cock.
It's good we just got this information because we know who's going to win it all now.
Oh, I don't know about that.
So we'll talk about his competitor a little bit.
Just chilling with Jigaro Kano, just like learning judo from the source.
Yeah. This is all some put 'em up, you dukes. This is also some not very modern boxing.
Didn't he carry a big stick?
Oh yeah. Well,
he might hit you with a weapon.
That's true. He does. Yeah, he does walk softly and carry a big stick. So, which is of course I believe it's an African proverb actually that he picked up while he was on safari out there and then started saying all the time. But
LBJ, his competitor, at about 6'3".
I think the second tallest president, if I am mistaken, behind one of our upcoming competitors.
I thought Lincoln was 6'4".
Lincoln was 6'4".
I think Lincoln edges him out slightly.
LBJ, Texas boy.
Yes. Hardened Texas man. Also, and this is, I think all of us I think we all went to public school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
LBJ taught at a public school. And as you know, if you went to a public school, male teachers there have a lot physically upon them because they have to break up all the goddamn fights in a public school. So, you know, at the very least, he's seen probably a lot of shitty, childish schoolyard combat. So, you know, he might know how to fight.
Well, he did also, the Johnson treatment. He'd go up to guys in the men's room and just loom over them and kind of grab them by the back of the neck and be like, so we're going to make a deal? We're going to do? He's aggressively coercive.
There's the photos of him doing the lean.
Yeah.
It's just like lurching over.
Yeah. We'll put
the most
pictures.
famous one, I believe, is got a senator from Delaware. I think his name was like Theodore Green, who was 80 years old.
Right.
But he's just physically
menacing
dominant.
him.
Menacing him. This guy was a bully. He would take meetings while he was on the toilet.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. He would,
which is a move that I think he stole from who used to do that? Crassus, I think, during the first triumvirate. I think Crassus would call the king of Parthia in while he was taking a shit, and Johnson was like, "That's hilarious," and so he ripped that off from the first triumvirate. Just a power move. Like he would just be dropping a deuce and like get his entire staff.
I had a crazy crazy woman do that to me at a party not like 2 weeks ago.
Really? What happened?
She was like, this girl was getting up in my face and like talking to me about some dramatic stuff and whatever. And she drags me to the bathroom and starts urinating in front of me while she's cross-examining me about some personal stuff with her boyfriend.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, well, this is highly irregular. And, you know what I mean? Having been a victim of it,
I've
been not enjoyable.
I've been led to believe that's a normal procedure from women.
No, they don't take you into, and they don't piss in front of you. They don't drop trow and urinate in front of you.
Okay, now that the subject has been broached,
you go to the bathroom and you go to different stalls.
Oh,
okay.
See,
so it wasn't a bathroom that had.
Okay, what's the lavatory situation? Because I've seen that a lot of times. Do you turn your back? Like if everybody just goes in the uni stall, sort of a thing.
No one's going there. You're not all going in the uni stall.
I see that shit.
Well,
sometimes.
they're doing coke.
No, they're doing cocaine.
Yeah.
They're doing
But
coke.
what if you're all doing coke and somebody has to pee?
You wait.
You wait.
So, but not to distract LBJ. I'd say that he's the Undertaker. He's like the Undertaker with the mind games.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's like
also known for walking on the top rope.
Yeah. Texas.
Yeah.
Texas. Booger Red.
Yeah.
LBJ. But the thing is that LBJ smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Yes, and he was the one who dropped dead shortly after his administration.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when he got out of the presidency, he did grow a mullet.
Oh my God!
Shows that this guy is wily. Just a really.
We'll have to put this up on our Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
We're at the Good Spot. LBJ's mullet is incredible.
Oh, it's so sweet.
I've been to his presidential library. It's very boring.
Oh, that's in Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a man. Yeah, what a spectacular mullet. He looks. Yeah.
Short in front and long in back, man.
Yep.
But I would consider this
White House in the front, Club LaVille in the back.
I would consider, Teddy Roosevelt to be very kind of stone cold Steve Austin. A little
People's
bit.
champion.
Yeah. Well,
the
like
blood
he's a
pouring down his
brawler.
face.
A brawler, yeah, just like a brawler. Just an incredible motor, won't stop. And then LBJ, Undertaker.
Yeah.
A little bit slower, mind game. So this is basically this matchup.
This is SummerSlam '98.
Yeah, this is Stone Cold versus The Undertaker.
Also brought to you by Stridex Pimple Pads.
And Skittles.
Taste Rainbow.
Milton Bradley's Karate Fighters brings you Lyndon Johnson versus Teddy Roosevelt.
Starburst. Juicy.
Fruity. Yeah, but Skittles. My God,
the Skittles.
All right, so LBJ versus Teddy Roosevelt. Who you got?
I got TR all day. The American Lion.
Yeah, the judo and boxing thing really changes stuff around. Even though he is blind in his left eye, so he can't see stuff coming from one direction. But he seems like a real, actual, legitimate badass compared to a lot of these other presidents.
Yeah.
I got to give it to Johnson. I feel like Johnson would fake a heart attack, and then he just hits him nails him in the face. Nails him in the bad eye.
Yeah.
Nails him in the bad eye.
The one thing we didn't mention about Johnson, by the way, that I mean, as long as we're talking about, I had to include, everybody's heard the thing about him ordering pants, right?
Yeah, because of his bunghole.
Make the pockets at least an inch longer. Now, another thing, the crotch down where your nuts hang is always a little too tight. So when you make them up, give me an inch that I can let out there. Because they cut me. They're just like riding a wire fence. So leave me an inch from where the zipper ends round under my back to my bunghole.
Yeah. He likes a nice open crotch because he's just like, man, they're cutting into
Apparently,
me.
he's just got
they're cutting into me.
He's apparently just got the longest balls.
Yeah.
So while Teddy Roosevelt is blind in one eye, it wouldn't take much for like a low blow situation on Johnson. It could be an inadvertent low blow, and it wouldn't actually even be a low blow. It might just be a leg kick, and you accidentally hit his fucking nuts because they're hanging so low down there.
And he did give up. He didn't seek re-election, which is kind of a tap out move, kind of a bitch move.
Oh, he did tap out.
He's kind of like Ronda Rousey, He's like, I don't wanna go back. I don't wanna fight anymore.
1968 was his Holly Holm.
Yeah,
yeah.
Seriously.
So
the press tearing me apart. I don't like it.
So we got Teddy Roosevelt, and
I'm gonna say LBJ could win in a fight.
This is a really tough one.
Dirty big man.
I mean, LBJ, Texas guy, straight out of the Dallas territory.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and I mean,
work in the sportatorium. Brother.
I mean, you know, you don't want to discount, you know, the tall Texans, your
Longhorns,
your Funks, your Von Erichs,
Bruce Brody, and you know, your Stan Hansens, your Undertakers. This is tough, but I'm going to go with Teddy on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
This might be. It's obviously too late there, but he did wrestle apparently. LBJ.
Yeah, but LBJ also smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day. So the cardio thing, you know.
Yeah, he's got
unless he gets a win in the first minute.
Yeah,
also
LBJ ain't doing a 90-minute Broadway.
Also a horn dog, loved harassing the secretaries, and he's like, and he would demand that all of the secretaries have very big hair.
Yeah. Okay.
He loved a big head of hair.
That's a Texas thing.
Tell him the bigger the hair, closer to God.
Baby, let me be loving teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck. Lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be. Oh, let me be. Your teddy bear. Oh, let me be. Oh, let me be.
This is definitely another contrast in styles. We have Abraham Lincoln, 6'4", maybe 160 pounds.
Bean.
Against William Howard Taft, probably about 5'11", 350. So
Lord, this is
El Gigante versus Yokozuna type battle.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to think of somebody even thinner than El Gigante. Like I don't know. I guess the
Yeti.
Yeah, it's the Yeti. It's Ron Reese.
But all right, so we have Abraham Lincoln,
the Yeti, if you will.
Doesn't seem like much of a fighter.
No. He was a wrestler.
Great wrestler.
Yeah.
In professional wrestling kayfabe lore, he was the first
NWA champion,
National Wrestling Alliance heavyweight champion.
Yeah,
and he could wrestle. He was definitely a master of folk style wrestling.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, catch as catch can type.
He could get you in a hold. Those long ass arms. You know. Yeah, he can make you tap.
But the thing is, though, with
he could cut a hell of a promo.
Oh, he could cut a hell of a promo.
Gettysburg Address, brother. That's his pipe bomb.
I was going to say, so there is an article, you can read about it on Sports Illustrated. They say the rugged frontiersmen once beat a man with a single toss and challenged the mob that had gathered with a shout. Any of you want to try it? Come on and wet your horns.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So this is what they say. Historians can only find one recorded defeat of Lincoln in 12 years, a regimental championship match against Hank Thompson while serving with the Illinois Volunteers during the Black Hawk Indian Uprising of 1832. He was a proud competitor but a humble sportsman. David Fleming wrote of the 6'4", 180-pound hard man.
Oh, shit.
So apparently, he was, when his wrestling skills diminished, his leadership qualities emerged.
Damn, dude. 12 years unbeaten except for one time.
Oh, George Washington, I guess, was also an accomplished grappler and master the British style known as collar and elbow.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Collar and elbow tie-up.
This also, William Taft was a 2-time undergraduate wrestling champion at Yale.
So we have Lincoln, a muscular 180. I can't imagine an ounce of fat on him. He defeated once in 12 years.
That's pretty good.
Kind of a Goldberg situation here.
Yeah, he's probably pretty protected.
Yeah.
Also, rumored to be a homosexual. Maybe some people didn't want to challenge him because they didn't want to get in the ring with him. I don't know.
True, yeah.
There is sometimes prejudice within the wrestling community.
Right.
Yeah.
And
in that way.
Like Goldberg, he had Tad Lincoln in the ring one time and he took his shirt off to reveal a little belly, and held him up to everybody like Goldberg did.
I just have the idea in my head of Lincoln doing the Goldberg entrance where he's like, doing kicks and punches and stuff like that.
People lighting sparklers up.
I was going to say, but it's the days before pyro, so it's just like, guys with like torches or something, and he's breathing
They light
in the
up
smoke.
one cannon.
Yeah, somebody just spitting kerosene onto a bonfire.
Yeah.
William Howard Taft, super heavyweight.
Dear God, yeah.
But also he, has a amateur wrestling pedigree. At Yale, mind you.
Yeah.
But I mean, back then though, it's like
there weren't that many colleges, so
there wasn't that much in the way of college competition, like inter.
I think some of the Ivy Leagues actually are known for having good wrestling programs.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ivy Leagues are always known for weird sports like wrestling and like crew rowing and shit like that.
Well, I mean, not in the current day and age with that, but it was like back in the day, those kind of sports were part of the gentry because you would go to boarding school and they would have you do sports so you wouldn't masturbate, and it was that was like a means of social bodily control, manliness and what have you, masculinity, and Taft, another Ohioan, so
whoop whoop.
325 pounds, so definitely weight advantage.
He could possibly get on top of Lincoln, and Lincoln could not get out from under him.
No.
It could be the Big Brother maneuver of stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself.
He could stink face him too.
See that
happen.
It's Rikishi.
Yeah, Rikishi.
I'm imagining him in the sumo Miyashi.
He takes off his Supreme Court justice robes to reveal that diaper.
Taft. I'm thinking Taft being very much like a big Van Vader type situation.
He is kind of shaped like that too.
Yeah. I imagine he's more of a booger.
And Lincoln kind of a Barry Windham, I think.
Yeah.
Very solid Barry Windham type.
I was once asked to do a guest round of trivia one time for my friend's bar trivia, and I did a round called U.S. Presidents, and the answer to every question was William Howard Taft.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Real dickhead over here.
But his father's name was Alfonso.
Okay.
Sounds pretty soft.
Yeah.
WFT. And a member of Skull and Bones.
Sure.
So he's one of these guys who's all like, I got my bros here. He's probably used to fighting in a group with a group of bros. He's like, I jerked off in a casket. We're all bros.
Yeah.
We all got each other's back. So one-on-one fight, who knows?
He's like George W. Bush, except he's shaped like the giant boulder from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Lincoln's got that rugged frontierism.
Yeah.
I'm thinking very much a Barry Windham type.
Taft is a little more city boy.
He's got a crazy wife. It's like he's always probably trying to wrestle her away from slitting her wrists. He's trying to pull her off of balconies.
Push her into an asylum.
Yeah. He's trying to get her in a straitjacket.
Mary Todd is a great trainer.
Yeah.
Inadvertent though she might be.
It's like chasing a chicken. You know how they would have Rocky chase the chicken around or whatever? Mary's trying to shave her head, suffocate the children. He's having to restrain her.
Oh man.
This is the hardest one
This
so far.
is the hardest one so far because it's not super obvious. It's two competing styles. It's very much Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. Who are we going with?
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna go Lincoln. The submission, the Kentuckian submission machine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Taft. I think the weight advantage is too much for Lincoln to overcome. Even though I think Lincoln might be better technique, better like style wise, like as a fighter on his own. At a certain point, the weight class difference makes too much of it. It's too much to overcome.
It's the meat mountain is insurmountable.
Yeah. And like we said, Lincoln's so skinny. He's at 180 and 6'4". His muscles aren't big. He doesn't have the strength to push him off.
He's maybe wiry, but not buff.
Yeah. I don't think he has the strength to get Taft off of him if Taft can get on top of him.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Taft.
I think you could get Taft off.
Laura, who do you have?
Lincoln.
Yeah,
I think Lincoln. He's depressed, severely depressed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he was a bit of a bummer. Yeah. It's kind of like Raven.
Yeah, he's very Raven-like. Very Raven.
What about me?
What about Lincoln? What about Lincoln? So I give it to him. His hard scrabble upbringing.
Yep.
His closeted homosexuality. That's a lot of interior rage.
He's on the penny, so it's like an inferiority complex.
Yeah, I mean, his mom's dead. He had to dig up roots and stumps and shit to have an outhouse or whatever he did. And then Taft's sitting pretty with his daddy Alfonso in the social club, being civilian governor of the Philippines, getting stuck in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Easy life.
So there is the thing with the size advantage, right? And Taft he was an accomplished collegiate wrestler, but I think his abilities do not translate outside the mat, outside the confines of collegiate wrestling.
Sure.
I think that Lincoln, although he gives up about 120 pounds to Taft easy.
Yeah.
I think that he has the takedown defense. I think that he has the tendon strength, and he has the reach from working that frontier toughness. And also, I think that Lincoln probably could throw a few bombs. I think that he could probably punch or kick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that Taft would get wind himself. I think that Lincoln has this one. And come on, he's the NWA champion.
That's right. Yeah,
he held the 10 pounds of gold allegedly. So
yeah.
I mean, he's very much. This is a
Taft's getting gassed, is what we're saying.
Exactly. Exactly. So Lincoln.
Blood's been spilled to afford us this moment now, with the fate of human dignity in our hands. But you grousel and heckle and dodge about like pettifogging Tammany Hall hucksters.
Okay.
So, next round, Warren Harding versus JFK.
These should go pretty quickly. All right, so Horn Dog, Horn Dog.
Yeah.
All right. One fucked Mrs. Butterworth, one fucked a German spy. Let's see. And Marilyn Monroe, and dozens.
I'm going to give it to JFK just because I think his doctor, if he knew of the fight before, his doctor could whip up some sort of super mix of, steroids and MDMA and, just he's like, I love fighting.
Yeah, that's right. And
that kind of thing.
Lest we forget, Warren G. Harding always had debts, so he'd be the first to throw a fight.
Yeah. So, he would bet against himself.
He bet against himself.
He would bet against himself, throw the fight, collect the money.
Yeah, collect the money.
I think
get the White House China back, dive. That if you feel that's pride fucking with your head.
Yeah. Also, JFK would be like, I have to win, or my brothers will never let me forget it.
Yeah.
I can imagine him taking the dive. I think that there would be some sort of situation.
The Pete Rose of prison.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the only Kennedy taking a dive is Teddy at Chappaquiddick. Hey now.
Oh.
So,
he murdered a woman.
Hey, manslaughter.
Sure.
Come on. Manslaughter.
I think I made my decision heavily in the first Harding match about how drunk he was, and I thought that would help him.
Yeah,
sort of
drunken master, like a Jackie Chan type situation.
But I do agree here that the concoction of drugs JFK is on is much mightier.
Oh, he's got the Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah,
like, JFK was getting shot up with speed and B12 and all kinds of crazy
shit. He's got the John Jones situation going on.
Yeah,
he's just like
he's
on everything.
He's on the juice.
He's on roids and coke.
He's on the gas, brother.
He's on the gas, brother.
Yeah, lots of meth.
And I think JFK's combo of drugs is gonna outdo Harding's combination.
Yeah,
straight up. That's how I feel about this.
This is like a wino versus a cokehead.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I would go with JFK as well, just for the simple reason that Warren Harding would probably take a dive against himself.
Yeah.
So
all right,
JFK in the finals.
Oh boy, here we go.
Now here's another matchup. I think that side of the bracket was a little lighter because this next matchup,
this is heavy
Teddy
hitter.
Roosevelt versus Abe Lincoln.
Ooh, yeah.
Now, I mean, we've been having a lot of fun here today. We've been riffing, but this is legitimately two fighters, like for real, like in history books and shit. Two fighters.
Yeah.
Roosevelt comes in with some MMA experience.
Yeah, he might be
legit striking and grappling training.
Yeah, and really what we're talking about here, we got two kind of evenly matched fighters in a way from different styles.
Yeah.
But also you've got this is sort of a classic 80s snobs versus slobs a little bit if you look at their economic background.
It is,
you know what I mean?
But also I mentioned Lincoln probably had some big ass meat hooks on him. Some paws.
Yes.
Yeah.
Daddy probably had some paws.
You know what
I'm saying?
I will say that in real life, in history books, these two sort of crossed paths in a weird way. There is a photograph of Lincoln's funeral procession going through New York City. And in this picture, you can see a young Teddy Roosevelt hanging out of the window of his family home.
Like Michael Jackson style, like getting dangled?
No, just on his own. No, he was his own blanket. He was like, I'll dangle myself, motherfucker. I got to see this dead motherfucker. So he's hanging out the window looking at Lincoln going by. So that's, they did have a brief intersection there.
Yeah, but this is very much like Sam said, this is a very MMA sort of situation here.
Yeah, this is sort of...
you have, and this is like kind of the whole heart of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt trained like a modern MMA fighter. Lincoln, very much, he would be at home in, like, say, Pancrase or something like that.
Sure.
Early, he would be fighting Shamrock, and he would be fighting Minoru Suzuki.
Also, there was evidence of Roosevelt training multiple times a week, and it doesn't really... We didn't really hear anything about like that from Lincoln.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't sparring multiple
But I would
times
imagine
a week.
Lincoln training like Rocky and Rocky 4. Like just like lifting up heavy sleds.
That's what I think. Yeah,
and
like chopping
running.
wood,
Yeah.
sort of like Schwarzenegger at the beginning of Commando, just chopping an entire tree and carrying it around.
Yeah, I imagine he's more about gritty toughness than he is about like quick response time and things like that.
Right.
You know, you can just pummel him and he'll just laugh at you.
Yeah.
Lincoln sounds
Spit
like
his own
he
teeth.
no sells.
You know, he's a no sell. Yeah, he's a no sell.
Lincoln maybe would make up his own martial art.
I imagine he would also he'd pull his
Ling
shirt
Kwando.
up. He'd pull his shirt up and it would just be like hickory, just wood. You know,
It's just mahogany.
like Bret Hart, you know, in WCW, and he had like the steel thing underneath.
Oh yeah, of course. That's how he almost beat Goldberg.
Yeah, that's what Lincoln would do with some wood or something like that.
So Teddy
this is
Roosevelt
tough.
versus Abraham Lincoln. Who would
But Teddy also, like we mentioned, blind in one eye.
Blind in
That's
one
a
eye.
tough one. Yeah.
Blind.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Hey,
But he became
PCO
blind.
can kick some ass, and he only has one eye.
He became blind from fighting while he was the president.
That's true. Yeah.
You got to add that in.
Plus Stan Hansen, that's not a hindrance necessarily.
So this is a really tough one because also, you have to think of the size advantage that Lincoln has. Lincoln has the reach advantage. Physically, I think that Lincoln has, tail the tape wise, I think he has the advantage over Roosevelt.
Yeah, but
It's about like the weighing the knowledge,
Yeah.
the fighting, not because Lincoln. It's like almost like those whole things when people talk about, if Babe Ruth played in today's baseball or if Jim Brown played in today's NFL.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like it's tough because you could think like, if you compare it dollars to donuts, Jim Brown couldn't necessarily be in today's NFL as he was back in the 60s. But on the same token, if you gave him all the weights and all the training and all the knowledge, and control for that, he probably would be, one of the best football players out there.
Sure.
Muhammad Ali versus Mike Tyson or something like that, or Joe Louis versus Mike Tyson. If you put Joe Louis prime against Mike Tyson prime, Mike Tyson would destroy him, but also Mike Tyson was lifting weights and knew, all those.
Yeah.
So I think that if judo existed back then and you taught Lincoln judo, he'd probably tear some folks up.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, I think maybe lifestyle-wise, Lincoln,
Yeah.
especially after Civil War, his enthusiasm for fighting probably was nothing. He probably, he'd probably be like, I've seen too much.
Yeah.
Whereas FDR would be like, bully, I love to fight.
Right.
He'd be more like, aha, good fun.
It's true. Because,
and Lincoln would be a bit like, man, why do we have to fight?
Yeah. Ironically,
I've seen too much blood.
Lincoln not a fan of war and presided over the most devastating one in history. Roosevelt loved war and never started one.
Yeah. But they both have dead kids. So
That's true.
They're both
Yeah.
kind of, like death wishy.
But also,
Charles Bronson.
But also with
Both of them
Lincoln,
Bronson
though,
quality,
Lincoln kind of strikes me as the type that he's not into fighting, but if you piss him off enough, he'd tear you to shreds.
I'm going just with my gut. I'm going Theodore Roosevelt. That's
Okay.
who I'm going for. Just rich kid, proper training, blood in his eyes, big chip on his shoulder.
I'm going Lincoln.
Going Lincoln?
That blind. Once I found out about the blind thing, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay.
You're out.
I think I'm going to have to go with Teddy here.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
because the style difference in their grappling arts that they knew. He knew a much more advanced one, and he loved to kill things. He was a hunter. He liked to kill. He liked murder.
And he was the chief of police in New York too. Yeah. So yeah.
I am gonna go Lincoln personally.
Okay.
So we have a tie.
Got a tie. Where's that?
Oh man.
I think you're sitting on it.
Am I sitting on
Yeah,
it?
you're sitting.
I think Pat is.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Oh yeah, yes. All right, so we got a tie. So we're bringing out the coin again.
Yeah.
All right.
Roosevelt heads.
Well, no, Lincoln's on the penny. He's got to be
Lincoln's
heads.
head. Yeah. All right. So Lincoln heads. Roosevelt tails. Lincoln it is.
Lincoln advances.
Yeah, that was like razor thin.
That
It
was.
kind of a split decision situation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
was a tough one.
So Lincoln versus JFK.
Yeah.
I think
mean,
that this is
a foregone conclusion.
Yeah,
We're
I think it's
the
one
man of
those-
copper.
I mean, the only way in which JFK would have this situation is that he kind of had a cakewalk through his like side of the bracket.
Sure.
Because he had to
Yeah.
face Harding, who took a dive against himself probably, and then he faced Nixon and Nixon. I don't think he would have put up the same level of fight that say a Roosevelt
Yeah,
would.
well, their
or a
sides of-
Taft
Or
would.
an
That's like
LBJ, yeah.
Their sides of the bracket largely reflect their life story, where JFK grew up the son of a very rich man in Joseph Kennedy Sr., of course. Bit of a cakewalk, and only encountered his real first challenge after the death of Joe Jr. and then his hardship during the Second World War, which is sort of his fight with Lincoln. And then meanwhile, Lincoln, the great emancipator, had to fight his way all the way up, all the goddamn way to the Illinois State House, and then eventually to the White
but the
House.
thing is
One
would
defeat,
Lincoln
12
be
years.
One defeat in 12 years.
Lincoln would be fatigued. So I mean, it could be a thing of like what the time window, but is it like an early UFC sort of situation where we're
Three
fighting
fights.
all on the same day?
Fights one night.
Yeah, and there might be like a thing where there's an injury, and then Harold Howard has to come in and
Try to flip kick
Yeah.
James Madison
Yeah.
in the wild card match.
the Harold Howard of the whole situation would definitely be
Oh, Lord.
Harding.
I think JFK would be on drugs, though. That is one thing to consider here.
Sure,
He,
sure.
like
Of
hey,
course
maybe
he's on
they
drugs.
could have like hooked him up with some like PCP or something like that.
Yeah.
Because he's like a better living through chemistry sort of situation. So
the better angel dust of our nature. I don't know.
And this is medical grade PCP.
Yeah. This is the mystic chords of memory, baby.
yeah. But I think the Lincoln takes it.
Well, yeah. Who do you think takes it? You can find us on Facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter. Tweet at us if you think we got this shit right or
Yeah.
like wrong. Lincoln might have been what a lot of people might have called for this, but I think we actually litigated this pretty good.
Yeah.
But
He's got that poverty strength. He's got something to prove.
yeah, maybe not as much as Roosevelt, although we'll see. Yeah,
Long reach.
yeah,
We should just get one of those like those boxing simulator sort of situations like they have,
Yeah.
and just punch in the like, all right, 6'4", 180 against whatever Roosevelt was, and whatever Roosevelt weighed, and kind of figure it out based on the variables. But I think Lincoln, he's I mean, come on,
He's a worker.
First NWA champion.
NWA champion.
Yeah.
The great emancipator Abraham Lincoln takes this thing.
That was
Sure, it
always
wasn't Tim Storm because he's so old.
All right.
Abraham Lincoln versus Jack Briscoe. Who do you have?
But yeah, that's
Honestly, I think Jim Cornette would have picked Abraham Lincoln personally.
they're both
Yeah,
Kentucky boys. Of course he would. Yeah, you don't bet against the home team. Fuck no.
No.
So-
Although he's a
Lincoln.
Republican.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, they were different back
I
then.
know. Just because Jim Cornette hates Republicans.
Right. But yeah, that's what we picked. You can tweet at us at the Goods Pod. Laura, where can people find you on the internet, and tell them about all the stuff you got going on, because I know it's a bunch.
You can find me on Instagram at Crawford Comic and on Twitter. You should check those out. And we're coming out with some new video material, working on the Profiles and Eccentricity podcast, which is on the Unpops Network.
Unpops, shout out to all the Unpops people.
The Unpops people.
Yeah, Adam Todd Brown, what's up?
Yeah. Got some shows going on. You can find me up at the Wine Cave December 20th.
Oh, what is that? Is that the one in like Montrose or
Yeah, it's
whatever?
in Montrose.
That's a fun fucking show. And it was weird when I did that show because I rolled up and I was like, what is this part of town? I've been here 6 years. I was like, what? Like, what the fuck is this?
The wine cave?
Montrose is the part of town. It's like
Is that like where Ronnie Montrose is from?
I don't know, but it's next to Pasadena, and it's like this like beautiful little town. And I think the scene where Will Ferrell is streaking in Old School, that's the main drag of Montrose. Yeah. We're going streaking. That's the one thing I know about Montrose.
The one thing I know about Montrose, underrated rock bands.
Sammy Hagar.
Rock the Nation.
Yeah. Was Sammy Hagar in Montrose?
Rips, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
That does rip indeed. But yeah.
If you're
Come check us out at the Wine Cave on December 20th, I believe it is.
It's a great show, yeah.
Look it up. But yeah, Crawford Comic is all the things.
Cool. Yeah, well, do that. Sam, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
Slam Harder on Twitter. That's where you can find me. I'm going to be doing some comedy in Arizona and Texas in January. So if you live in like Phoenix or Tucson or San Antonio, Houston, Fort Worth, Austin, go there. And if you want to see me and my friend Joe Toller.
Oh, hell yeah.
Turn up the Metroplex.
I'll mention, why not mention my fucking dates right quick. I'll be at Brendan's Irish Pub in Birmingham, Alabama on the 20th. I'll be in Waverly, Alabama on the 21st at Standard Deluxe. And I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee at Third Coast Comedy Club on the 22nd. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/TheGoodsPod. We're on Twitter at TheGoodsPod. Every episode ever, youtube.com/TheGoodsPod. Buy a shirt, ProWrestlingTees.com/TheGoodsPod. Buy a shirt. Pat, what should the folks do when they get to iTunes?
Let me go skinny on TV. You should rate, review, and subscribe. Spread the word. Show the attitude of gratitude.
And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, Daddy, write a weird letter about your wiener to Mrs. Butterworth. Song of the week this week. It's a great tune from a good friend holding it down out there in Flair Country. This is Mr. Johnny Mose, and the song is called The Death and Resurrection of George W. Bush. And we'll see you next week.
I woke from dreaming in a field of open meadow in September. And I stumbled through my pocket for my wallet and my car keys. As I lay there blinded, the scales dropped from my eyes, and a hole you understand filled my body. Said I'm gonna change my name, gonna change what it all means. Yeah, I'm gonna change my name, gonna change what it all means. Made it halfway up to Memphis when I got pulled over by a nurse talking rookie named y'all. He said, sir, what you plan to do with all them tanks of gasoline? Well, I looked him square in the eyes and I said, boy, I used to be president of this holy goddamn nation. Said, I'm gonna drive my car straight into yon ravine. Yes, sir, I intend to drive my car straight into yon ravine. And I heard that train whistle, thought about Houston and the fall. Pick up football games, the pecan orchard, oh my God. What if I don't ever get to go back home? What have I done? Was I ever really a human being at all? When I realized it all had come to an all down. gasoline out on the grass, set it on fire just for funsies, kiss my ass. Nobody cares about anything at all anymore. Who cares that I've done? Now I ain't even a human being at all.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.